Good evening. We bring you the latest in the world of sports and the conversations you want to hear from your favorite icons and athletes. I'm Zihir Basho. In tonight's game plan, we'll speak to the Navigators Iloilo as they cruise to a good start in the Spikers Surf Open Conference. And of course, we'll take a look at the preparations of the Filipinas ahead of the FIFA World Cup. Buckle up, sports fans. Let's get in the game. Before anything else, we talk about volleyball and the Filipinas. The biggest running event of the Philippines is back and bigger than ever. With us tonight to talk about the upcoming run, 7-Eleven 2023 series is happening in a few days in 7-Eleven General Merchandise Division Head Jun Ang, as well as some of our country's top runners, Philippine Army Corporal Richard Salanyo, Nea Ann Barcena, and Maricar Camacho. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the game.
Good evening.
Sir June, we were talking about how wonderful it is. It has been a wonderful 11 years of the 7-Eleven run. And the last time you were here, you guys were preparing for the marathon na naganap nung December. Could you talk about what were the preparations then and what ensued during that December tournament?
Well, originally we were destined to participate in Thailand, Bangkok. Unfortunately, when we tried to register, we were told that the registration were closed already. So, fortunately, our team was able to look for an international event wherein we could send off our runner, and there's the Vietnam International, wherein we sent off all the runners who won during the last 7-Eleven run.
That's right. I mean, it all happened for the best kasi ngayong gabi kasama natin ang mga nanalo sa 7-Eleven run. At hindi lang yun, panalo din sila sa international event na yun na nangyari sa Vietnam. Again, we have Corporal Richard Salanyo of the Philippine Army, Miss Nea and Miss Maricar. Corporal Richard, could you tell us, kamusta yung buong experience na nag-compete ka dito sa Pilipinas tapos naipadala ka sa Vietnam para mag-compete pa sa marathon?
Yan yung experience ko dito sa pagtakbo dito sa 7-Eleven sa local dito sa atin. Bali, pinaghandaan namin talaga yan kasi yan yung isa sa biggest na patakbo ng 7-Eleven Philippines. Kaya talaga pinaghahandaan ng mga runner yan. Kaya yan, mas pinagbuti namin para makasama kami din sa laro na sa international.
Miss Nea, alam kong veterano na tayo sa pagtatakbo sa competitions locally and around the world. Ano pong kakaiba last December na ang nangyari sa Vietnam?
Ito kasi locally, napaka-supportive, lalo na sa 7-Eleven kasi hindi lahat nabibigyan ng chance. So ngayon ito actually open to all. So hindi lang mga national athlete. So ngayon, any civilians. So katulad ko, civilians lang naman ako. So nabibigyan kami ng exposure to run abroad to represent the Philippines. Then luckily, nananalo naman kami. So talagang pinaghahanda namin to, hindi basta-basta yung pag-compete international.
Correct. Baka kasi nakalimutan natin, si Corporal Richard won the first place in the 21K category. Miss Nea won in the second place in the 21 category. And of course, Miss Maricar won third place in the 42K category. Miss Maricar, gaano kahirap or maybe gaano kadali ang preparasyon para sa isang 42K marathon?
Sa totoo lang po, hindi ganun kadali. Sobrang hirap din po ng pinagdaanan ko para lang po may raos ko yung laban ko sa 42 kilometers. Sa laban po nung Vietnam, almost tumigil talaga ako sa gitna ng laban. Dahil po hindi ako makahinga nung araw na yun. Nasa first place po ako nun. Running for first place po ako nun. Nung tumigil ako, dun sabi ko, siguro marami pang ibang laban. Kahit umabot man lang ako sa third place. Basta may place pa rin. Ayun, sa awa ng Diyos, umabot pa rin po ako sa third place kahit may nararamdaman po ako ng araw na yun.
Talagang going out of our comfort zone talaga. And again, hindi lang to national athletes basta-basta. And again, like Miss Nea has mentioned, kahit sino pwede makapag-participate sa mga runs natin kasi nga may opportunity na binigay ni 7-Eleven. And Sir June, could you explain to us how big of a deal is this 7-Eleven run na ginagawa nyo year after year? And ano yung vision nung nagsimula pa lang ito?
Well, actually, it all started way back 11 years ago. The coined it as Run 800 because we want to hit our 800 store. And eventually, it changes into the year. And right now, we are moving to have our Run 2023. This would be held on this coming February 4 and 5. Now, going back to Vietnam, we were caught surprised that upon registering, nalaman lang namin doon that there's about 64 countries participating and a stronghold of 12,000 runners. Talagang full pack, no? So when we were there and we said we just do our best, no? Just beat your personal best and let's see what will happen. Okay? And there were a lot of experience along the way, and luckily the runners were able to deliver, give glory to their family and especially to our country.
Speaking of personal best, let's go back to our champion, Corporal Richard.
Yes,
Ano siguro yung tumatakbo sa isip mo nung huling kilometer na yung tinatakbo in the 21K category?
Yung nasa isip ko nun, kailangan ko talaga maitawid to kasi ako na yung nasa unahan eh. Kaya sabi ko, para maibalik namin yung sukli na binibigay sa amin ng 7-Eleven, yung suporta sa amin ng 7-Eleven Philippines para ang achievement naman maka-place kami dun sa laro na yan.
Na-surprise ka ba na ikaw yung nanalo nung pinakamalaking gantimpala nung tournament?
Oo, na-surprise ako dyan kasi talaga eh. Kasi bago pa lang mag-umpisa, nakita naman natin napakarami talaga runners. Kaya hindi ko rin expected na ako yung magcha-champion nun.
Miss Nea, I wanted to ask, since yun nga, hindi naman to first time natin na mag-compete in this kind of tournament, ano siguro yung isang kakaibang nangyari in Vietnam na talagang ite-treasure mo sa experience mo?
Actually, hindi ko inaasahan na sa second place ako. Kasi the last time nung first race ko, sponsored by 7-Eleven, parang fourth place lang ako noon. So ngayon, hindi ko na-expect na magsa-second ako. So yung first natin kasi from the Philippines din, si Halasgo. Sobrang lakas niya, hindi ko kakayanin yun. So during the game, hindi ko naman alam na magsa-second talaga ako. So nung along the way, nakita ko na ako na yung pumapangalawa sa kanya. So parang sabi ko, i-maintain ko na to. So paano yung experience ko na yung the best sa atin na player sa Philippines, nakakalaban ko, nakakasama ko. So yun yung magandang experience para sa akin.
Alright, talagang kakaibang experience din to. Talagang parang very dramatic, very emotional ang tournaments natin. I think I wanna wrap up this kwentuhan natin sa mga winners natin. And Sir June, merong 7-Eleven run next week. How is this different from all the 10 years of 7-Eleven runs, and how special will this be?
Well, for this year, what we will be introducing the 1 kilometer for kids in Manila, and also we having a 42 kilometer for the master seniors. Okay, in Manila also. And for Cebu, we'll be passing through the CCLEX, the new bridge in Cebu. So I hope everybody would be excited to participate and experience firsthand, no, running across the said bridge.
The bridge.
Yeah.
All right. And I'm sure there will be lots of tournaments in the future, local and international, that 7-Eleven will be supporting. So thank you very much for you guys coming here at the studio, and good luck to your future endeavors.
Thank you very much, and see you guys at the finish line.
Yes. And after the break, we'll hear some exciting football news as the Filipinas prepare ahead of the FIFA World Cup. Stay tuned, you're watching The Game.
Welcome back. You're watching The Game. I'm Paulo Del Rosario. The FIFA World Cup is fast approaching and the Filipinas are doing everything they can to get ready for the global battle. Now, we sat down with head coach Alen Stajcic to learn more about the preparations and direction of the program ahead of the FIFA Women's World Cup.
Now joined by Coach Alen Stajcic, who is not just going to manage the Filipinas, he'll also handle the youth teams very, very soon. We're going to get to know a bit more about that. But Coach Alen, first of all, thank you very much for doing this interview.
Pleasure. All good. How are you?
I'm good. I know you don't like seeing me because
That's not true.
the camera is on him
That's
and
not
he's
true.
not very comfortable with that. But
That's not true.
Coach, first of all, thank you very much. A lot of traveling in the past few days. And a lot of it is because of your new role.
Yeah.
You're now going to be part of the group managing the youth teams of the Filipinas. And I could only imagine just added responsibility and the added tasks in your head.
Yeah. Yes and no. It is an added task, but ultimately it's not really, because I've always viewed the national teams as one pathway, and really what we're trying to establish now and hopefully set up for the long term is continuity and alignment throughout the whole national team structure, so that there's a seamless pathway from the under-17s to the 20s to the senior national team. And I know how important that is, as you move forward in terms of a long-term strategy for players to be able to shift from one team to the other, both tactically, technically, and in terms of expectations as well, and lifting the professionalism of all three national teams. So we've done it with the senior team and we've made big strides, and we know we've got a long way to go, but we've certainly made big strides this year, and we want to incorporate that into the youth teams and hopefully bring along some local coaches and local staff in for the ride, where they can assist us and hopefully learn and be able to take over the team for the next cycle.
A lot of tryouts going to be happening worldwide, really. You've just come from the United States, here in the Philippines for the local leg. And are you surprised, first of all, by the volume of interested parties, interested people coming in, and of course, just trying to make sure that they get your attention to hit these sites?
Yes and no again. I have to answer that way again. We were in LA for 3 days, and we had people come from 4 or 5 different countries, from Canada, from Hong Kong, from Australia, obviously from the USA as well, from all over America, from New York, from Florida, from Chicago. They came from all walks of life across all of the USA. So it was good to get that interest. Over probably around about 110 young kids came to try out for the 2 different national teams in total. And that was really pleasing. But if I was a young kid, who wouldn't want to go and try and participate in a national team, especially one that's on the up. So it was really pleasing to see that turnout. Here in the Philippines, I think we've got a bit of work to do, and that's one of the reasons we've undertaken this task as well, is to try and really lift the pathway and improve the structures in and around football, in and around that grassroots level, and really highlight some of the deficiencies that we can find. So, in 5-10 years' time, anytime you talk about grassroots, it's not an instant fix. You're talking about a 5-10 year strategy to try and develop kids, to try and develop the sport, to try and grow the sport, and hopefully have some kind of environment where kids can grow and learn and become better, and hopefully full-time national team players in the future.
Well, you already touched on it, that the senior level has already reached a point wherein it is a model to emulate, especially for the younger groups.
Yeah.
And when you take a look at how our seniors are now working towards being World Cup ready, I know a lot of work to do, but then how do you see your progress so far going to New Zealand?
Yeah, look, it was a miraculous year last year. The things we achieved were almost unthinkable. To qualify for the World Cup, first and foremost, after COVID hit years, and probably on reflection, COVID hit the Filipino players more than other players around the world due to us not having a large amount of players in professional clubs. Players in other countries got to go back to their clubs a lot sooner than players that we had in our group. And, we had a 10-week camp in LA to prepare for the Asian Cup, but that was pretty much the only football the bulk had played, in almost a 2-year time span. So we really were starting a long way back from the field, and had to do a lot of catching up in that short camp in LA. And it had good results, and we had an instant impact, which was pleasing. And then obviously we carried it on with the SEA Games. The AFF was special and memorable and remarkable in terms of doing it here at home, and getting that engagement with the fans at the Rizal that night was, something I'll remember forever and really special. But I always dream, and think about how can we compete with the best nations on earth, and we've taken big strides to close that gap, but no doubt there's a big gap still there to reach the top 10, and for me we should be aspiring to be a world contender, and that takes time, but it takes a lot of effort too, but I know we can get there.
Coach, really appreciate the time. Again, I'll interview you less and less, but let's see how it all works out as it all happens. All right, thank you very much.
Pleasure.
Thank you, Coach.
And after the break, we've got more sports stories coming your way. Stay tuned. You're watching The Game. The Navigators Iloilo had a winning debut in the Spikers Turf Open Conference, pushing their name to the top of the rankings. Let's find out more about their promising start from team captain Jerome Michael Cordes, Jade Alex Disquitado, and Coach John Kenneth Panes. Gentlemen, good evening and welcome to the game. All right, let's get to it. Coach, congratulations. First win and in straight sets. Anong feeling after getting that solid win in your debut in the Spikers Turf Conference?
First, sobrang saya namin kasi siyempre, first game namin, panalo kami. So, ayun, sabi ko sa mga players ko, good job kasi siyempre, first time natin sa ligan to, panalo ka agad.
Good job talaga. Kasi not only that, beating Air Force. Jerome, can you tell us a bit about yung team ninyo? Kasi napakabata yung team. You have a high school student. Ito, high school to.
Grade 12.
Ikaw, still in college. But can you tell us a bit more about yung composition ng grupo ninyo?
Unang-una po kasi nabuo kami sa labas lang na kunin namin sila. Tapos maglalaro kami kung saan-saan sa mga invitational games, sa mga probinsya. Tapos parang yung namin, ginawa naming motivation na sumali sa Spikers Turf kasi nga buo na kami sasali. Then isa na kaming team na sasali doon na may bonding na together.
Siguro, Jade, anong klaseng confidence yung meron ka this time in the Spikers Turf Open Conference and with the new team?
Sobrang laki ng confidence ko na mananalo kami sa lahat ng laro namin kasi
Yes, I
Ano
like
eh?
that.
buo na yung team namin eh. Pati, sa game, lahat kami nagtutulungan para manalo. Eh.
Yung gusto ko sa'yo, mayabang ka eh. Oh, no, I mean that with all respect kasi there are very few people who would go out there and say na kaya namin lahat. And syempre, bago pa yung team ninyo. Coach, a lot of confidence sa grupo nito. After that first game, winning in straight sets, for those who don't know, beat Air Force 25-21, 25-23, and 25-19. Ano masasabi mo sa, first of all, where this team belongs dito sa Spikers Turf?
Una kasi, siyempre, gumagawa kami ng game plan eh. Okay, for example, kalaban namin Air Force. Okay, anong game plan natin para sa Team Air Force? So, yun lang, sabi ko, follow lang tayo sa game plan natin, paghandaan natin. Okay, so, ganun lang. Sabi ko.
Jerome, with your debut, 15.7 digs, anong tumakbo sa isip mo nung time na yon? Kinabahan ka ba being the first game of the Spikers Turf Conference? Like, anong feeling bago at nung nanalo na kayo?
Bago yung game namin ng first game kalaban yung Air Force, medyo kinabahan po kasi nga first time po din po maglaro ng Spikers Turf. Tapos habang naglalaro po kami, parang naisip ko, ay, dapat first time, kailangan gawin ko ito, kailangan kasi na-training na namin to, nasabi na ni Coach yung ganito. Yung ano po yung sinabi ng coach namin and yung na-train po namin, ay lang din po yung pinakita namin sa game namin.
Jade, it's not your first time. So with that in mind, medyo veterano ka sa grupo na to. Naging leader figure ka ba sa grupo ninyo? How did you make sure na yung experience mo would come down to the rest of yung teammates mo?
Sineshare ko lang sa kanila yung mga experience ko nung last season para alam nila yung gagawin nila sa loob at labas ng court.
Parang individual scouting ba yun yung ginagawa mo? O yung binibigay mo na advice? O paano ba yan? Yung mga routine or yung feeling na nandun ka?
Yung mga gano'n. Yung kung ano yung feeling pag nasa loob ka na ng arena, gano'n.
Okay.
Coach John, gaano kadali or gaano kahirap mag-lead ng isang team na ganito kabata at mula sa iba't ibang core team? Kasi like, si Jade, grade 12, si Jerome, second year college, and I'm sure iba-ibang background pa yung laman ng team nyo. How is it like head coaching a team like that?
Una kasi, inorient ko na sila eh. Sabi ko sa kanila, so ako ngayon yung coach nyo. Siyempre, ako yung coach nyo. Sabi ko, mag-give respect lang tayo sa isa't isa. Sabi ko, ganun. Maggalangan lang tayo. Sabi ko, kung ano yung ituturo ko o kung may suggest kayo sa akin, open ako kung ano i-suggest sa akin.
Straight set win, Jerome, against Air Force, and obviously yung next game nyo against NU Archipelago Builders Sunday, January 29. A lot of people will be looking at you kasi, swinit na yung Air Force. Malakas yung team na to. Pagkahandaan kayo. How would you take yung challenge na yun, knowing na mas scouted na kayo sa susunod na laban ninyo?
Naghanda rin naman po kami para sa NU, tapos nag-training po kami, tapos nag-double time po yung team namin. Kasi knowing NU naman po, isa sa pinakamalakas na team sa ngayon na sa Spikers Turf. Tapos nagtingin din po kami kung paano sila gumalaw, kung paano namin bablakin, didepensahan yung palo nila. Ayun po.
Being one of the leaders in your team and one of the skillful ones in the league, Jade, anong preparation ang ginagawa mo individually para sa upcoming game nyo against NU?
Sama-sama kami nagka-training eh.
Okay.
Bali ang inaano ko na lang yung mindset ko. Kung ano yung gagawin ko sa loob ng court. Pati kailangan ko na bawat isa ma-lead namin yung buong team para magtulungan kami para manalo. Coach,
how do you make sure na you're never too high sa mga panalo ninyo at the same time you're never too low sa mga talo ninyo? Or eventually, if matalo kayo sa season na to. Because obviously, very young group, maraming matutunan, not very experienced. How would you take yung mga milestones and achievements na nakakuha niyo this conference?
Kami is ano lang, one step at a time lang. Okay, kung ano yung kalaban natin, doon lang tayo mag-focus. Okay.
Alright.
Ganun lang.
Perfect. Coach, guys, unang-una, congratulations again for that first
Thank
win.
you.
And good luck in the next one. Jade, I can't wait to talk to you again kasi grabe yung mga quotes mo talaga eh. Some of my favorite quotes coming from Spikers Turf. Maraming salamat.
Thank you.
All right, catch the Spikers Turf Open Conference every Wednesdays, Fridays, and Sundays live on One Sports, One Sports Plus, Signal Play, and Smart Livestream. And that's it for tonight. Thank you for joining us. I'm Zihir Basho.
Catch us weeknights here on One News, One Sports, and One Sports Plus. I'm Paulo Del Rosario, and this has been The Game.